Welcome to Encroachment Sports Talk. We are joined this week with our NBA expert Peyton, and we're going to talk through our projections for what's going to happen in the NBA playoffs. So, welcome, Peyton. And
hi, how's it going?
Yeah, welcome.
Doing great.
Thank you for
Let's
having me.
start.
It's good to have some young blood as a part of this whole thing. You know, two old codgers like us. It's good to have young blood.
Yeah, it gives some perspective. Yeah.
It's good to have somebody who was never alive before the three-point line, you know, and underhanded free throws.
Yeah, we had a whole different set of rules back when we were watching.
Oh yeah, games were very different.
They used to, Chris, do you remember when they used to have this rule where you couldn't carry the ball? They would call traveling.
Yeah, they're used to.
Yeah, they don't call that anymore.
It's not called very often anymore, but apparently it's still in the books.
Yeah. So Peyton, let's get your thoughts. Who do you like as a Western Conference Finals matchup? Who do you think is going to be in the finals?
The West is pretty scary this year, honestly. I think the Nuggets are looking really good. Jokic is playing well, and Jamal Murray's back. They got what's his name? Who's that? Aaron Gordon's doing well. And I don't know. I just think the Nuggets they're going to be up there. I also think they could play the Suns. You know, possibly the Suns are looking scary with KD and Ayton and Booker. But I also think that the Kings might do something because they've been playing well. They're the 3 seed, you know.
Yeah.
But as much as I hate to admit this as well, the Lakers are very scary as well. They've been playing, him and LeBron and AD are healthy. They're playing well. And they're looking like a championship team right now.
So gun to your head, who do you like? Which two teams?
I'm going to go Nuggets Suns just because I think that's going to be how it's going to be. But I think more likely the Lakers are going to make a run that's going to be surprising. Yeah.
Okay. How about you, Chris?
Well, you stole my thunder, young blood. So, but before we do that, I want to bow down to Mark. Mark won our NBA fantasy league, and so we must give him kudos. It's a pretty cutthroat league. I finished last, so that was a lot of fun. So the good news is basically I should just write checks to you directly, Mark, going forward. But
I'll take
anyways, a lot of fun, and congratulations, Mark. That was good win. But so in the West, I'm with you, Peyton. I think it's going to be the Suns and Nuggets. I think the Suns did something amazing. So look at the trade deadline. They got Durant, Johnson, and Bridges, and so they added 26 points, 17 points, and 14 points at the trade deadline. That's pretty unbelievable. I mean, not many teams pulled that kind of thing off. And then, of course, you mentioned the Nuggets. They just are filled with a bunch of talent. You mentioned 3, but Porter Jr. is pretty special as well. So I think those two just have the most talent, most depth. I think they'll meet in the West. But there are some, as you mentioned, the Kings and the Lakers and maybe the Clippers that could, join that party. We'll see. But I think those are the two power teams.
They might match up in the second round, though. That's the only caveat to your predictions. But I like where you're going. For me, you know, what would make this whole prediction exercise a lot easier would be if the Eminem movie 8 Mile had a sequel. Do you know where I'm going with that?
Yes.
So for those of you who don't know where I'm going with that.
Yeah, this is before your time, Peyton. So
Yeah, I'm all ears.
Peyton's an 8 Mile fan.
I do like 8 Mile, yeah.
The story of 8 Mile is just this big battle between Eminem's character, this big rap battle between Eminem's character, B Rabbit, and Papa Doc. So Papa Doc was this gangster thug with this group called the Free World, and they're in this big finals battle where they're rapping back and forth, and the crowd reaction dictates who wins. So Eminem brilliantly exposed Papa Doc, who was supposed to be this hard-ass thug, for having gone for his real name being Clarence, and Clarence went to a private school, and Clarence's parents had a real nice marriage. So not the thug life whatsoever. So anyway, there are some similarities. I don't know if you've seen coming out in social media of Ja Morant being similar to Clarence, to Papa Doc, because Ja Morant also, so recently, John Morant was suspended. For those of you who've been under a rock, John Morant was suspended for 6 or 8 games for from the NBA and from the Grizzlies for having flashed a handgun on a Instagram video. So it basically John Morant portrays himself as being super tough, but John Morant went to a private school and John Morant's parents have a real nice marriage. So those were the similarities. So I'm wondering, in my mind, Papa Doc was done as a rapper after he was exposed by Eminem. But so is John Morant, is he going to be able to, overcome, especially in the short term, this big controversy of him having let down his team and, he stepped away for 6 games. Anyway, so that's where that's coming from. I think I'm going to say Memphis is going to make it to the finals. I think John Morant's going to use it as a time to just redouble his focus and prove himself to the league that he really does belong, because he's a emerging superstar. And Jaren Jackson Jr. chiming in with him, Desmond Bain, that's a team who will get there. I also like your Suns pick, although there are so many teams in the West. It is such a toss-up this year. Every team has warts, and you can make a case for 7 different teams probably making the finals. So, but I'm going to go with Memphis over the Suns. Turning to the East, to me, this is as clear-cut as it's been in a while. I like the Bucks and the Celtics. I think they're head and shoulders the 2 best teams in the East, not only in the East, but in the NBA. I'd be shocked if those 2 teams didn't meet in the finals. Sixers fans out there may say, hey, we're going to have something to say about it. But the Celtics have owned the Sixers this year and in recent years. And Embiid has said it himself, it's only a rivalry if both teams win. So I like the Bucks and the Celtics. How about you in the East, Chris?
Are you gonna give a disclaimer, Mark, there?
I am a Celtics fan. I don't know if you can tell, this picture behind me is the old Garden.
Yeah.
So longtime Celtics fan, predating Larry Bird. But well, I don't tend to be biased with my predictions, as you might.
No, you don't. But I think if the garden behind you isn't a clear sign that you've got other interests.
I honestly agree with him. I don't think the Sixers have enough. Well, they are looking scary recently, but it's really just Joel Embiid chipping away. I think recently they beat the Celtics without Jaylen Brown, but barely. So it would definitely be an interesting thing to see, but I think it's also set in stone. Bucks Celtics in the finals.
Yeah,
I'm also biased, but
Peyton is a chip off the old block and is also a diehard Celtics fan.
Yeah, he bleeds green, as they say.
Yeah.
So, I hate to agree with you, but I agree with you. I think they're just the 2 best teams. There's no question about it. Philly is that one team that's out there, but they just haven't made it to they haven't been there. They haven't been to the conference finals, right? So, they just aren't that. So, do you want to talk about who gets out of the East, though?
Yeah, Chris, who do you like in the finals, and who do you like winning it all?
Well, out of the East, I'm going to actually pick the Bucks, and I'm sorry about that, but I'll tell you why. It's one little factor. They play each other really well. I think it'll be a 4-3 series. It could go either way, actually. But Middleton is back. Middleton is healthy. He's playing the way Middleton can play. And of course, he was on my fantasy team for the whole year and didn't do anything. So it's an interesting thing to watch. But I think he adds a whole nother dynamic to that team. But it's going to be, like I said, it could go either way.
I should just cut you off before you get to the West for that blasphemy. But go on. Who do you like coming out of the West?
I knew I'd hurt some feelings there, but it's okay. I have to be a little bit contra there. But like I said, it could go either way. I'm actually hoping, because we're good friends, that Celtics win, but I could see where the Bucks pull it off. In the West, it's the Suns. I think Durant just has something to prove now. And he's a beast in the playoffs. He may be like one of the worst regular season guys in the world, but in the playoffs, I used to have to watch him when he played for the Warriors, and he's just unstoppable. He's a matchup nightmare.
Remind me how many games he won in the playoffs last year?
Yeah, I don't know. I have no idea.
He was swept out of the first round
Yeah.
by the Celtics. So.
Yeah, well, but do you think his heart was in it?
Yeah, I think he was the only person playing on that team. Kyrie's heart
Yeah,
definitely wasn't in it.
And here's the deal. I think Barkley and the feud between him and Barkley and his reputation now of kind of being soft and showing up when he wants to, I think he's got something to prove. Like you said, that Ja has something to prove. So we'll see. I mean, he's by far the most talented guy on that team, and maybe in the West. Jokic is close, but you know, if he comes full bore, he's something to behold.
So who do you like winning it?
So I'm going to take the Suns. I'm going to take the Suns because I think they've got, and they're deep too. If you look at the Suns roster, it's very, very deep. And I just think Durant has something to prove. I really believe he's got his mind on making people believe that he is the best in the last couple decades.
Okay. How about you, Peyton? Who do you like in the finals matchup?
Honestly, I'm probably gonna go either Celtics and Nuggets or Nuggets Bucks. I think the Nuggets are looking really well rounded as of right now. They've been up on the rankings for a while now, and you know they have weapons as well. As it doesn't really seem like it, but they have a lot of good role players. They have they picked up Thomas Bryant. I think they have good defenders like Reggie Jackson, and Michael Porter Jr. is doing well, and like Jamal Murray's back again. But if the Celtics don't make it to I think the Celtics have all the weapons plus Malcolm Brogdon. Like they're in the finals last year and they added Malcolm Brogdon in the offseason. Gallinari might come back possibly for a playoff return. So it's tough to say with the Celtics. I honestly hope that they go the whole way, obviously, but the Bucks are also looking scary, you know, like they have all their weapons that they always have. And Drew Holiday, for some reason, does too well against the Celtics, 40 points every time, and he's hard to stop. So I think it's going to be either Nuggets Celtics or Nuggets Bucks.
Okay, I can't let you get off. You got to pick.
Yeah. All right. So I think, well, biased opinion, of course, I'm going Celtics all the way. But non-biased opinion, I honestly think I'm going to go Celtics again. I think they can beat a lot of these teams. They showed that they had the skill set last year without Malcolm Brogdon, who's been a key role to their bench and their team this year. And yeah, I think they can they have people to put on Jokic and like players like Embiid to get through to the finals. But yeah, I'm gonna go Celtics Nuggets.
Yeah, so a little defense to Peyton's projection of the Celtics is that they've beaten the Bucks 2 out of 3 this year, and the one they lost, they were playing without 3 of their starters. I believe Tatum and Brown were out, and maybe even 4 of their starters, and they took them to overtime. They actually blew the game at the end. They should have won the game. So they match up very well. The Celtics Achilles heel this year has been playing down to their level of competition. They've been horrible. I think they lost to the Magic 3 times, and they lost to the Suns without Ayton and Booker in before they had KD, and different games, tons of games like that where they would blow leads to bad teams. So I can see where you're coming from. I like the John Morant to shake off the ghost of Papa Doc and get his team into the finals. And I'm going to go with my head tells me the Bucks are a little too strong, assuming they stay healthy, which is more of a big if for the Bucks than the Celtics. I think Brook Lopez is also a guy that you guys haven't mentioned that's playing significantly better this year than in years past. So yeah, it's going to be a heavyweight bout between the Celtics and the Bucks, but you got to just give the nod, I think, to the home court advantage. Although I hope I'm wrong. Let's turn our attention now to so I guess we all like, well, we got the Suns, the Bucks, and 2 Bucks picks. Turning our attention.
He's a Celtic guy. Peyton.
Oh, that's right. Peyton did pick the Celtics. Okay.
I mean, he was true to form.
That's right. So we do have a little variation there. We'll see. Hopefully I'm wrong, and hopefully the young Buck. Right. First round matchups. The West is not yet set. There are some probably potentially intriguing possibilities in the West, but I really like the Knicks versus the Cavs. The storyline there being Donovan Mitchell, who was heavily recruited by the Knicks, but they weren't willing to meet Danny Ainge's asking price, and so they lost out on him. And then had to settle for a guy who's been amazing this year in Jalen Brunson. So I just like that matchup. You also have I love watching Darius Garland play and Evan Mobley. Evan Mobley defending Julius Randle should be fun too. Mobley is really long and athletic, and will give Randle some trouble. So I like that matchup a lot. So, Chris, what
What
first
about
matchup
the
is
West?
intriguing?
What about the West?
Yeah, how about well, again,
Okay.
you can't really predict any West matchups yet because the 5 through 8 seeds are not set yet. So I didn't go there.
So my East is the same. Cleveland, New York. I see that 4-3, very close. And in the West, I projected meeting would be the Suns and the Clippers. I think that would be a really good, interesting matchup. So I picked one in each division there. So, but we'll see. But I agree that first Cleveland versus New York should be just outstanding. So for a lot of reasons that you mentioned, there's a lot of backstories there.
How about you, Peyton? You got a different matchup you're intrigued by?
Yeah, I do like the Cleveland New York matchup a lot. I think that's going to be a fun series to watch. But I've been a big fan of the Kings this year and how they've been playing. And I think that the Warriors Kings series is going to be pretty fun to watch, because De'Aaron Fox is finally getting the recognition that he deserves after being on like a terrible Kings team for his whole career. And they have a new team. Sabonis is doing great, and I think they work really well together.
Sabonis is so underrated. That guy, their whole offense runs through Sabonis. I mean, he's a triple-double machine. He's really an unheralded player. So, yeah, again, the only reason I stayed away from the West is because it's not set in stone that the Warriors get the 6th seed. And but yeah, I love watching the Kings. For the reasons, those two players are special players and will be a fun watch.
Yeah. Agreed.
Speaking of which, Peyton, which player or players do you see sort of breaking out this year and establishing themselves on the national scene?
Yeah, so of course, De'Aaron Fox, he hasn't really had much. I don't think he's had any playoff experience, so he's has something to prove going into it. He's a great, phenomenal player. Actually, I've had him on fantasy teams in the past, and he was a little bit injured, so that was the only thing that was stopping him. But I think he's going to break out. And I also think Mikal Bridges on the Nets, he's been doing well this year. He doesn't miss games, and he just puts out points and assists, and he just provides for Brooklyn. So I could totally see him helping Brooklyn get past the first round playoff or the play-in or whatever. But I don't know
They'll
if
be matching up against the Sixers, so that would be interesting. Yeah, I kept waiting for Brooklyn to, once they lost KD, to fall down because I was hoping to match up with them, and they held on to that 6th spot.
Yeah, they're looking solid right now, as weird as it is, because they don't really have many weapons, but they're doing well. I also think the Thunder, if they somehow make it into the first round, I think Shea is going to impress people because, he's been one of the NBA's leading scorers, only behind like superstars like, I think it's like Embiid, Luka, and Dame. But 2 of those players didn't even make the playoffs, so anything's possible in the West for sure. I think we have some good stars in the West.
That's a really great call. Shea is one of the most unheralded, under the radar superstars. That guy can ball, and he's meddling in obscurity, in Oklahoma City. But that's about to change. If it's not this year, it's next year.
Yeah, future's bright in OKC.
How about you, Chris? Which players?
So you said breakout in kind of our preparation for this. So this guy is not going to break out, but I think that it's a narrative push. Yours is a Ja Morant narrative push, and mine is Durant. I really believe Durant is good. Not that this is going to be unexpected, but I just think he's got something to prove. So we'll see. I really think he's got something to prove, and I think he will show what either he will, or he's going to be the butt of a lot of Charles Barkley jokes going forward.
Yeah.
He's got the team, and he's got every motivation in the world to do the right thing here. So
what he's got going for him is every time Barkley makes a hot prediction, he's wrong. So definitely got that going for him. But I mentioned this guy earlier, and he could be the I don't know if they're going to match up, but if they do get to the finals, he'll be the Durant stopper, and Jaren Jackson Jr. Injuries have plagued this guy early on in his career, but he's, knock on wood, he's been healthy this year, and he's hitting threes. He's already a phenomenal defender. He may be first team All NBA, blocks shots, scores points, and I think Jaren Jackson Jr. is he and Morant are going to team up to do some special things in Memphis. On the flip side, I think as you can tell, I'm not a fan of the Sixers, and I think a one-man show cannot win in the playoffs. It's been proven time and time again, and Embiid is going to need help from James Harden, and he's not going to get it. Harden just disappears in the playoffs, and he's going to do it yet again. The other, my go-to candidate for player to lay an egg in the playoffs, generally by pulling a calf muscle or something, will be Chris Paul. I think he's going to leave his. I think he's going to leave his son's team.
Yeah, but he's a great State Farm representative. Come on.
Yeah, I think he may have to pick up speed walking after this.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's one of the funniest ads around.
Chris, who do you think will lay an egg?
Well, I don't think lay an egg per se, but I just think Embiid just can't get over that hump. You're supposed to be so great, and you are so great, and statistically is, and he actually is, pretty emotionally embedded in that team and can lead them, but he just can't get over that hump. We can't even get to the conference finals. When is it going to happen? He's not getting younger. So, I don't know if it's laying an egg, but I'm disappointed that we don't get to see him at prime time come conference finals and finals. So
I'm not. I hope that continues.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I can see why.
Peyton, who's gonna lay an egg?
I think DeAndre Ayton's gonna underperform because honestly, he lacks aggression. He plays too passive. And although Booker and KD are gonna do well, they always do. I just think that the piece that the Suns really need is DeAndre Ayton, and I don't think that they're going to get what they are expecting from him. He's not some elite center, There's been a lot of memes online about how the Suns team doesn't even like him. They're just fed up with him, missing free throws, just not doing what he should be doing. And I agree with that. I don't think he plays with enough passion and aggression that he needs to. He's not as dominant as he could be.
It's a good call because he's got all the tools. Coming out of college, out of Arizona, you thought he was the next big thing. So,
well, in his defense, he's been better than James Wiseman.
That's very true.
But it's all relative, right?
Yeah.
The moral of the story: don't take the big man anymore.
Yeah, I know. But that may change with Wembanyama or whatever. That guy looks like he's the real deal. I don't know if you saw that highlight where he shot up a three and it bounced off the rim and he picked it up and sent it back. Unbelievable. That's freaking true alien territory there.
Yeah.
It wasn't just like a little putback layup either. It was a dunk. It was a
it was like a flying dunk from the 3-point line. The kid.
Yeah, so he's got the outside game, right? That's what distinguishes him. If you're a pure traditional big man, the game has passed you by, right? Like a Wiseman or an Ayton.
Yep, it's true. Yeah.
I forget. I don't know why I'm forgetting this, but like who the Suns could have taken in place of Ayton. I think it might have been Ja, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think they're in the same.
Yeah. So again, big.
I forgot what was it. Pick 2 or 1? I forgot which pick it was, but it was.
Anyway, thank you. Great show. And Peyton, thank you for joining us. We needed that. You had some great perspectives that the old guys brought to the table. So appreciate it.
Great, Peyton. And you're
for
more than welcome to show up anytime you can. I know you're a busy young man. So
all right. Well, yeah, definitely. It was a pleasure being here. Thank you guys for having me. And
awesome.
Yeah, hopefully we'll reconnect next time.
We'll see you all again next time, and go Celtics.
All right, go Celtics.